Breaking news, everyone. We've got some very special news. The ICC's pre-trial chamber has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. As the international community braces for potential repercussions, we must work together to keep the flame of accountability burning bright in this time of darkness. See this call for justice grow stronger. It's a tweet from Francesca Albanese, UN Special Reporter. Situation in the state of Palestine there. She's got update there that arrest warrants have been issued, and I'm going to drop this link in the description on important resource here that shows why the U.S. and EU member states must face the extent of their being in breach of international law, and why they must absolutely move to arrest these people should they show up in their country. So yeah, right now you're listening to one of the great songs, "My Blood Is Palestinian" by Dami Palestine. Absolute banger. All right, anyway, let's. Okay. We have some serious news to get to on that front. The full list of 124 countries has been released who must arrest Netanyahu for the ICC's conviction. I mean, it goes down the list. It's Afghanistan, Albania, Argentina, Armenia, Australia, Austria, Bangladesh, Barbados, Belgium. I'm just going to hit, just name some random ones. Bolivia, Brazil, Bulgaria, Cambodia, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Congo, Costa Rica, anywhere he would want to go on vacation, right? Czech Republic, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Denmark, Djibouti, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Estonia, Fiji. You can't go to Fiji, bro. Finland, France, Georgia, Germany, Ghana, Greece, Guatemala, Guinea, Honduras, Hungary, which Germany and Hungary have already said, we'll give you safe passage, Netanyahu. Ireland, Iceland, Italy, Japan, Jordan, Kenya, Liberia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Madagascar, Malawi, the Maldives. You can't go there. Can't go to Mali. Can't go to Malta. Mexico, Mongolia, Montenegro, Namibia, Netherlands, New Zealand, Nigeria, Norway, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Poland, Portugal, all of the alliteration here. We love to see it. Republic of Korea and Moldova, Romania, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Samoa. You can't even go to Hawaii, dude. You can't even go to Hawaii or Samoa. San Marino, Senegal, Serbia. Okay, here we go. Slovakia, Slovenia, South Africa, Spain, State of Palestine. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, sure. Sweden, Switzerland, Tanzania, Tajikistan, Trinidad and Tobago, Tunisia, Uganda, United Kingdom, Uruguay, Venezuela, Zambia, but no United States, you might notice. Well, that's because the United States only chooses to acknowledge the ICC when it's convenient for them. And we'll get to that later. But the Biden-Harris administration has just said that it fundamentally rejects the International Criminal Court issuing arrest warrants. Once again, the absolute hypocrisy of this is shown here by reporter Prem Thacker, who says, it fundamentally rejects the International Criminal Court, Biden-Harris administration issuing a statement that they reject that ICC issuing arrest warrants for the people leading this, which is an Israeli drone has reportedly targeted Kamal Adwan Hospital with a bomb, causing serious injuries to doctors and medical staff. So once again, it's like the people guilty of doing that, which is Israel, they're just like, yeah, we can't really, I know we're arming them, but I mean, we can't really hold them accountable. What do you mean throw them in jail? That's crazy. Also, Walid Mahmoud over here has a a little bit of video footage here that shows, just take a look at the actions of their soldiers in Gaza. That's why the ICC is quote-unquote anti-Semitic. The ICC is Hamas, is terrorist. This is an Israeli soldier smashing an ultrasound machine at Gaza's only cancer hospital. Now, you have to understand how cruel you have to be to destroy equipment that is used to detect cancer and to treat cancer and to monitor the progression of cancer in someone's body. How heartless you have to be to just destroy this equipment, which the Israeli military is currently using as a headquarters. Once again, you got a soldier here. I guess he can't shoot it, and he's also weak and impotent, so obviously he's got to sit there and try to hit it and try to destroy it, which is, insane. But yeah, as we said here, Germany says it will not arrest Netanyahu if he enters the country due to its Nazi history. So he's so ashamed by the Nazi history that's almost 100 years old at this point, that he's going to side with the second Holocaust, which is being run by the Zionist Jews this time. So not all Jews, okay? There are a lot of Jews that are pro-Palestinian and anti-genocide. But yeah, in this case, Germany finds himself on the wrong side of history again. It's very ironic, and we had to drop Palpatine in there. We had to drop the memes on that one. And also, Canada announced it supports the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant for Netanyahu. Netanyahu will be arrested if he sets foot in Canada. I mean, I'm always kind of back and forth on, like, I'll like Trudeau when he's hanging with Obama and they have like this great friendship and these good policies together, and they were pretty lockstep on most things. They didn't agree perfectly on everything, and none of us really do. But when Biden and Trump and others took over, it felt like Trudeau kind of backed off a little bit, and it just feels like we're less unified in some ways, and things are going to get a lot weirder. But let's actually check this out, because Trudeau, I guess he's in a kitchen. I don't fully know the context here. But yeah, let's see what he has to say right here. We're going to pull up a full video here. Like so.
Now that the ICC has issued warrants for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, Canadian law enforcement is obligated to arrest them should they come to Canada. Will you allow that to happen, or will you step in to prevent an arrest?
First of all, as Canada has always said, it's really important that everyone abide by international law. This is something we've been calling on from the beginning of the conflict. We are one of the founding members of the International Criminal Court, the International Court of Justice. We stand up for international law, and we will abide by all the regulations and rulings of the international courts. This is just who we are as Canadians.
Now that the ICC
It's just who we are as Canadians, dude. Canadians really are the nicest people, aren't they? I've never met an impolite one, to be fair. Also from Zateo, ICC arrest warrants for Netanyahu and Putin, a case study in U.S. hypocrisy. This is also from Prem Thacker on November 21st, 2024. Hysterical response to the ICC shows Washington, D.C. is this weird fantasy land where Israel can simply do no wrong. So, yeah, it's really weird that, like, it's quite clear that in some ways that Putin and his Russian soldiers are committing genocide in a certain way in the Ukraine, and we can use the G word there. But anytime we try to use it over here with Netanyahu's arguably even more atrocious with the, 100 years or more of genocide that's been committed, and obviously just the past year is where it's been under a worldwide microscope, with everybody having phones and cameras everywhere, that this war is literally just being war is being live streamed in a way that we can just watch a genocide broadcast at this point. So yeah, the U.S. on Thursday quickly rejected the ICC's decision to issue arrest warrants for Netanyahu and Gallant, which once again, former Defense Minister Gallant, he was replaced by an even more psychopathic Zionist who is pro-settlements and is just going to be an absolutely insane person to work with, and like literally zero chance of peace when you have these like Zionist extermination kind of guys where that's their policy is extermination. It's not like two-state solution or like, ooh, let's work things out, let's get the hostages back, let's get some peace. No, they're like, let's wipe out every Arab on the earth. You know, it's like, holy shit, man. So yeah, this is where we're at right now. The Biden White House, of course, made it clear that they reject the court's decision. They remain deeply concerned by the prosecutors' rush to seek arrest warrants, and obviously this came almost too little too late. It's taken so long for the ICC to do this. They said, we remain deeply concerned by the prosecutors' rush to seek out arrest warrants and the troubling process errors that led to this decision. The United States has been clear that the ICC does not have jurisdiction over this matter. So in the same way that the U.S. Always goes to the UN and they always vote in favor of Israel, and they always say, oh no, we can't have a ceasefire in Israel, we can't stop arms going to Israel, we can't hold Israel accountable, there are no atrocities happening, don't trust your eyes or your ears of all the stuff that you're seeing, it's all propaganda, it's definitely not like real people, real press down on the ground with cameras in front of them documenting live genocide. Yeah, definitely don't trust all that. It's all out of context, guys. I mean, seriously. So yeah, President Joe Biden welcomed the ICC's decision to go after Putin for alleged war crimes in Ukraine, saying it was justified, and makes a very strong point. So yeah, very interesting that they can't do the same when it comes to Palestine. Of course, Secretary of State Antony Blinken urged all members of the ICC to comply with the warrants against Putin. I don't think anyone who's a party to the court has obligations should fulfill their obligations. Right. So it's interesting that it's like Putin can't leave Russia without like literally almost every country in the world being like, hey, we're going to arrest you if we catch you. But we can't do the same thing for another rabid genocidal maniac that arguably wants to take over most of the Middle East if he has his way. He'd like to take over what's left of Palestine. He'd like to go into Lebanon. He'd probably like to go into Iraq and establish, you know, some classical Zion biblical garbage. And you know, I really thought we were fairly settled on like the borders of countries around the world. It feels like things have kind of just stayed one way for a long time, but now we're starting to see, you know, people want to change things. Next, Senator Lindsey Graham, of course, the king of hypocrites, has put other countries on notice, saying that if they support the ICC and their warrants involving Netanyahu, to be very specific here, they can expect consequences if we do not act forcefully against the ICC after their outrageous decision to issue arrest warrants for the duly elected Israeli Prime Minister and former Minister of Defense. We are making a huge mistake, and I fear the United States is next. Why? He's kind of trying to say like, yeah, you know, if Israel were to like lose this war or something, like the Muslims would all come for America next. And it's like, well, yeah, there are some extremist Muslims that are definitely like death to America and all that. But I mean, for the most part, if you weren't bombing most of them and you just kind of let them do their own thing, you know, beyond any sort of atrocities or terrible things, you know, where America loves to step in as the world police, you know, I think you could actually go a long way towards creating some lasting peace. Obviously, there's a lot of Muslim and Arab countries that the United States and other countries get along with very well. But Israel makes a lot of these partnerships very, very rocky. And you notice here, yeah, just meeting with him, just shaking hands with your bestest buddy in the whole wide world. So once again, it's all that AIPAC money going into Lindsey Graham's pocket, and of course Biden getting over $11 million from AIPAC. So, and I think Lindsey Graham has a significant amount as well. But Graham welcomed the ICC warrant for Putin, calling it a giant step in the right direction for the international community that was more than justified by the evidence. I would argue we have more evidence of genocide, even of soldiers recording themselves committing war crimes on the Israeli front here, that we literally have so much evidence over the past year that it's overwhelmingly factually true that a genocide is happening. And then, of course, Democratic Senator John Fetterman, who is also bought and sold by AIPAC, a staunch Israel supporter, was curt on Twitter. No standing, relevance, or path. He says that. It's really weird. Matt Duss at the Center for International Policy underscored the undeniable hypocrisy of the moment, saying the discussion about Israel and Palestine exists in this weird fantasy land where Israel can simply do no wrong, he told Zeteo. It's just to anyone outside the United States, it is absolutely bizarre, Duss said. And it's just devastating to America's credibility, to say the very least, but especially because of the stark, undeniable hypocrisy of welcoming warrants against Putin, which are deserved, and, an attack on the ICC when they're issued against America's friends. Which, you know what, when your friend is, drunk and beating up people in the street or abusing his girlfriend or something, you call out your friends. You say, hey, get off, you're going to jail, or you're, whatever it is. You never let friends do stupid things, right? Anytime your friends are doing something dumb, you stop them. Or one of your friends is acting crazy or being rude to other people, men or women or whatever, or children or whatever it may be. You walk up and you stop that stuff right away. Friends don't let friends drive drunk, right? We're literally just letting Israel drive drunk over half of the world and just bomb everybody with no consequences. And then when they bomb Lebanon, they bomb Iraq, and they bomb the Houthis in Yemen, the United States just says, you better not retaliate. It's well, I mean, what do you expect people to do when they're being bombed by Israel? And Israel is antagonizing a further wider war, which could expand into World War III, which would also, tie into the Russia and Ukraine stuff, which, if Trump lets them run free, that's going to, they're going to dominate Ukraine and start moving into Poland and other European countries. And then what are we going to do? We just going to lay down and let Europe get swallowed by Russia? Or, what's going to happen at that point? So as the U.S. isolates itself further and further for an ally that pumps billions of U.S. tax dollars towards all for more war nations across the world, from France and Ireland and the EU itself to Turkey, Jordan, and Canada, announced their respect for the warrants. Gotta love it. 124 countries that are signatories of the Rome Statute, which established the ICC, are obligated to now arrest Netanyahu, Gallant, and Hamas military commander Mohammed Deif, whom the court also issued a warrant for. Notably, the U.S. and Israel have not signed on to the ICC. Gee, I wonder why. Now, it's also important to note, because I know people in the comments are immediately going to be, well, what about all the Hamas boys? Why aren't we having them at the ICC? Well, they just killed the leader. And they just killed, several of the other ones that the ICC had warrants for and were investigating. They're dead already. So there's no due process. There's no let's bring him in, let's interrogate him, let's show him true justice, I feel like just killing him just allows another snake to come out, and the Hydra spawns 5 more heads. You can't solve any form of terrorism with just killing. You have to stop it in a different way. You have to show that there are long-term consequences for this. So the next thing, which I really like, I'm really quite partial to Prem Thakker's writing. I think he's an incredible journalist, and I would love to interview him someday. I think that would be really interesting to have a conversation with him. He seems like he is really enlightened on this stuff. So the next paragraph, he calls it Hague invasion. Some U.S. broadsides against the ICC harken back to 2002 when President George Bush signed the American Service Members Protection Act, also known as the Hague Invasion Act. The bipartisan bill authorized the U.S. to use all means necessary and appropriate to bring about the release of any U.S. or allied personnel being detained or imprisoned by, on behalf of, or at the request of the ICC. Such allied personnel included those from several allied nations, including Israel. So you're starting to see like where the red tape is on this issue. And he also adds that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer was among the Democrats who supported the bill. While he was yet to comment on official issuance of the warrants, he called the idea reprehensible in May. On the other hand, 1 month after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Schumer celebrated the Senate passing legislation to support ICC investigations into Russian war crimes. Okay? We also have a comment from Republican Senator Tom Cotton, who is a absolute lunatic. He says the ICC is a kangaroo court and Karim Khan is a deranged fanatic. Woe to him and anyone who tries to enforce these outlaw warrants. Why do these like rabid Zionists always get like super biblical? Woe to you, O earth and sea. Like, who do you think you're talking to, bro? So he says, let me give them all a friendly reminder. The American law on the ICC is known as the Hague Invasion Act for a reason. Think about it. So he's kind of implying that like American troops like SEAL Team 6 might storm the Hague and rescue Netanyahu from his criminal prosecution. Also, for the incoming Trump administration, Donald Trump's national security advisor Mike Waltz said that ICC has no credibility and these allegations have been refuted by the U.S. government. You can expect a strong response to the anti-Semitic bias of the ICC and UN come January. You can also see Mehdi Hassan break down why the ICC warrants are not anti-Semitic. I think we'll actually just we'll pull that up real quick. I think that's a wonderful idea.
After months and months of waiting, the International Criminal Court has finally issued arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, Yoav Gallant, former Israeli Defense Minister, and Hamas commander Mohammed Daif. They're accused of serious crimes, war crimes, crimes against humanity. This is a big deal, and the Israelis are already screaming it's anti-Israel. This is anti-Semitic, which is BS for a number of reasons. But the main reason is this. When International Criminal Court Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan first requested arrest warrants, he checked with 6 legal experts who all agreed that there was a criminal case against Netanyahu. One of them was this guy, Theodore Meron, a 94-year-old Jewish Holocaust survivor.
Jewish Holocaust survivor. Let's go back. Jewish Holocaust survivor. Let's go back. Let's hear it again.
This guy, Theodore Meron, 94-year-old Jewish Holocaust survivor, former legal advisor to the Israeli Foreign Ministry, former Israeli ambassador to the United Nations. He is not anti-Semitic. He is not anti-Israel. In fact, he's a former judge on the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda and for Yugoslavia. The guy knows his stuff. He's a Jewish Holocaust survivor. And even he said there's a criminal case to be made against Benjamin Netanyahu.
Sheesh. That is quite a bit. So yeah, definitely subscribe at Zedeo.com. You can follow them on YouTube. Definitely check out their website. They have a number of really great reporting there. And I think Mehdi Hassan is really just absolutely owning it. So another comment here says Western values being more outraged by ICC arrest warrants for Israeli officials than by the list of war crimes that they have committed. American politicians are threatening every single ally on the planet in service of one specific ally, being Israel. Internationally accused of war crimes seems crazy until you remember these politicians sent the bombs used in said war crimes. This is from Prem Thacker, who is also on Blue Sky. And so I want to play this short clip here of Lindsey Graham threatening allies of America, Canada, Britain, Germany, France, which once again, we did say that Germany would support Israel, but some of these others would not. If you try to help the ICC, we're going to sanction you. And is he at like Trump's golf club right now? Is that why he's like sporting the sweater and the ball cap here? I don't.
So to any ally, Canada, Britain, Germany, France,
Most
if you try to
hypocritical
help
guy
the
ever.
ICC, we're going to sanction you.
Well, that means I want every ally. And you saw little Justin in Canada and his position. What should the penalty be?
We should crush your economy because we're next. Why can't? So to any
We're
ally,
next. Why would
Canada,
we be
Britain,
next? I mean, Prem goes on. Yeah, Prem's got the picture, dude. He's so good, dude. He just drops the receipts like right there in the top comment and just has like, by the way, here's the picture of them. And, you know, might as well just be dropping all of the money there. So, oof, that is pretty insane. So, once again, let's take a look at this. This is a tweet from Asal Rad, who is a PhD in modern Middle East history, author of State of Resistance, Politics, Culture, and Identity in Modern Iran, Cambridge 2022. She says, when ICC issues warrants for Russia, quote unquote, it's an action of an international evidence-based body that will stand the test of history. When ICC issues warrants for Israel, this court is a dangerous joke. And of course, we see right here that she's already pulled up the tweets for Lindsey Graham. I hope the international community will continue to support the ICC in their endeavors to hold Putin accountable for the brutal invasion of Ukraine. Right? And it's an evidence-based body that will stand the test of history. You get it, right? Now, the International Corrupt Criminal Court, he's already gone the other way, literally flip-flops all day long on every issue, has acted in the most absurd and irresponsible manner possible by issuing arrest warrants against the Prime Minister and former Defense Minister of Israel. While there is a serious cloud of allegations hanging over the prosecutor who sought these warrants, the court is a dangerous joke, he says. It is now time for the U.S. Senate to act and sanction this irresponsible body. The court defied every concept of fundamental fairness and legitimized a corrupt prosecutor's actions. That's crazy. So yeah, I can't really trust someone like that. And that's where we are. So I hope you're excited about all this. I think it's a step forward. It's not like, you know, it's reason to celebrate, but it's also like, don't get so jaded because the fight is not over. In the same way that Francesca Albanese said, we must work together to keep the flame of accountability burning bright. May this time of darkness see the call for justice to grow stronger. See you on the next one, folks. Take care. Be safe. See you on the next one.